Alright, Shalom. First, I'd like to start by saying all praise to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Kakadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles that rule well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing the truth and sincerity. Now, this video is basically on Sundown Towns. It says a hidden dimension of American racism by James W. Lowen. So I'm just bring out a couple paragraphs and edify with the scriptures, because they pushing this whole agenda, which is basically to bring in these race wars, and Jake acting like it's a big deal that Esau doesn't like them, but that's because Jake was never taught who their enemies were, And that has something to do with the curses, because they're looking at their own brothers as their enemies, But this is on page 1, or chapter 1. It says the importance of sundown towns. It says, is it true that Anna stands for ain't no niggers allowed? I asked at the convenience store in Anna, Illinois, where I had stopped to buy coffee. Yes, the clerk replied. That's sad, isn't it? She added, distancing herself from the policy. And she went on to assure me that all happened a long time ago. I understand racial exclusion is still going on, I asked. Yes, she replied. That's sad. Conversation with Clark, Anna, Illinois, October 2001. It says, that's not too long ago. Same year the Twin Towers fell. Was it? Yeah. But, it says, Anna is a town of about 7,000 people, including adjoining Jonesboro. The Twin Towns lie about 35 miles north of Cairo in southern Illinois. In 1909, in the aftermath of a horrific nearby spectacle lynching, Anna and Jonesboro expelled their African Americans. Both cities have been all white ever since, and they still got this going on. And then there's a lot of cities that Jacob in Wisconsin that Jacob just won't go at all, because there's too many crackers, either my doubles up there, and they know that if they go up there, something is going to happen to them. But that goes back to Esau and the hatred that Esau and Jacob got for each other in the beginning in Genesis and shit. And let me see, so I can just read the point. Slack, y'all. Can bear with me. This is Genesis chapter 3 verse 15. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. Right. So, the Lord in the beginning, put Jacob against Esau. Jake just don't know, which Jake represents the black/Native Americans, just don't know that these Edomite devils are their enemy. Not all Jake know, and a lot of them are waking up now. But them wanting to be separate is in the scriptures. The Lord separated us in the beginning. This is Deuteronomy chapter 32, verse 8. It says, when the Most High divided to the nations their inheritance, right? So the Lord gave them, everybody, their own lands. When he separated the sons of Adam, right? Because the Lord has a chosen elect. See, the Lord only deal with Israel. He don't care about these other nations. He set the bounds of the people according to the number of the children of Israel. For the Lord's portion is his people. Jacob is the lot of his inheritance, right? The Lord only deals with Israel. He doesn't deal with none of these other nations. Esau gave away his blessing, This is 2 Ezra chapter 6 verse 54. It says, and after these Adam also, whom thou madest Lord of all thy creatures, of him come we all, right? And we understand that. And the people also whom thou hast chosen, right? So there's a chosen people. All this have I spoken before thee, O Lord, because thou madest the world for our sakes, Israel's sakes. As for the other people, including these white people, which also come of Adam, thou hast said that they are nothing, but be like unto spittle, and hast likened the abundance of them unto a drop that falleth from a vessel. Right, so the Lord don't care about these other nations, man. The Lord got a specific people, that he lifted up over all the nations. And that was the 12 tribes of Israel. Esau was just upset that they couldn't get their blessing, and the elites know this information. That's why the elites are in control of what's being pushed out now today. And this is Deuteronomy chapter 7 verse 6. It says, for thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy power. The Lord thy power hath chosen thee to be a special people unto himself above all people that are upon the face of the earth. Right, so the Lord not dealing with all nations. We are not equal to these Edomite devils. Okay, yeah, that's straight. This is back in the book. It says, Anna and Jonesboro expelled their African Americans. Both cities have been all white ever since. Nearly a century later, Anna is still considered by its residents and by citizens of nearby towns to mean ain't no niggers allowed. The acronym, the convenience store clerk confirmed in 2001. It is common knowledge that African Americans are not allowed to live in Anna, except for residents of the state mental hospital and transient at its 2 motels. So imagine how they being treated if they're the only African Americans there. If they're even there, but still, imagine how they're being treated, man. African Americans who, and they might even to dwell in a place like that and not move out, they might be Edomites, or some might be some type of confusion to face. It says African Americans who find themselves in Anna and Jonesboro after dark. The majority black basketball team from Cairo, for example, have sometimes been treated badly by residents of the towns and by fans and students of Anna Jonesboro High School. Towns such as Anna and Jonesboro are often called sundown towns, owing to the signs that many of them formerly sported at their corporate limits. Signs that usually said, "Nigger, don't let the sun go down on you," in blank. Right, so Esau, really is showing their hatred, man. At one point in time, it was really showing their hatred, and Trump is bringing it back. Little clips like the clip I played in my last video of Hillary Clinton saying that slick ass shit that all blacks look alike. That's just a catalyst to help keep this racial tension up and keep this so-called racism, because racism just means for your race, and that's cool. But Jake and them don't understand it, but it's gonna happen to where a fight breaks out, so to speak. So it's all prophecy. It said these communities were also known as sunset towns, or in the Ozarks, gray towns in the east, although many communities excluded African Americans. It says the term sundown town itself was rarely used. Residents of all white suburbs also usually avoided the term, though not the policy. Right, so they enforced it, even though they avoided the term. It says sundown towns are almost everywhere. It says a sundown town is in any organized jurisdiction that for decades kept African Americans or other groups from living in it, and was thus all white on purpose. And that's, in the beginning the Lord separated us. The Lord doesn't like Esau. That's how it's supposed to have been. They use Martin Luther King to try to bring us together, in which Jake still wasn't getting no type of justice or nothing. You can tell by how everything is turning out now. It says there is a reason for the quotation marks around all white, requiring towns to be literally all white in the census. No African Americans at all. Is inappropriate because many towns clearly and explicitly define themselves as sundown towns, but allow one black household as an exception. Thus, an all-white town may include non-black minorities and even a tiny number of African Americans. I just had the scripture, but it slipped me. This is yeah, man, it's important for our people to know this and read these books, because then you'll know what you're dealing with when you're dealing with these Edomite devils, these white people, man. Because all of this is coming back. This is Isaiah chapter 33, verse 6. And wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, and strength of salvation. The fear of the Lord is his treasure. Right? So, wisdom and knowledge starts with the scriptures and knowing that Esau is your enemy. The scriptures say, love worketh no ill to us. How does it say? Esau did us wrong throughout all of these years. They have been nothing but the devil unto us, And Jacob don't be understanding that. Slack y'all. Fucking Satan, man. These devils weren't our friends. Obadiah breaks that down to you on the history, how they was helping them Hamites, put us in slavery and shit. One second. This is Romans chapter 13, verse 10. Love worketh no ill to his neighbor. And, they always saying they are neighbors. Martin Luther King said they was our neighbors. That's totally not true according to the Bible. They are our enemies. Therefore, love is the fulfilling of the law. And they showed us no love. They showed us nothing but hate. You can tell by what I'm reading about this book. It says, whites only within city limits after dark. If you was caught after dark, they would kill you. Or lynch you, and if you was caught before dark, same thing would happen. This is John chapter 8, verse 44. Ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father you will do. This was applied to the sellouts back in the day. I'm trying to figure out a sect, but now you can apply it to Esau now today. But it says, ye are of your father the devil, and the lust of your father will ye do. Ye will do. He was a murderer from the beginning, and abide not in the truth. And that's going back to Cain, who later on had the curse put upon him, which came, Esau came about. And abide not in the truth, right? These devils ain't about no truth, because there is no truth in him. When he speaketh a lie, he speaketh of his own, for he is a liar and the father of it. Right. So you either might say y'all the devil, man, according to the Bible. All right, back to the book. It says, it turns out that Anna and Jonesboro are not unique or even unusual. Beginning in about 1890 and continuing until 1968, white Americans established thousands of towns across the United States for whites only. Many towns drove out their black populations, then posted sundown signs. How did they drive them out? They was killing them all. That's why I'm shocked that they had a couple of them standing in some of these cities. They was killing Jake off, running them out of them cities, man. That's alright, but what goes around comes around, said the Bible. That's why a lot of you Edomite devils are mad, man. That's why a lot of these Edomite devils are mad. Because what goes around comes around, and it's coming to light. And they don't like the history coming to light. Truth said they don't like no truth. Especially the elites. They work so hard to hide it from us. This is 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 6. Sin is a righteous thing with the Most High to recompense tribulation to them that trouble you. And who has troubled us? These Edomite devils, man. From slavery up until now. So they're going to be paid back for it, man. They was able to do whatever they wanted to us. And when they had us in their hand, and they still got us in their hand, and they're still doing whatever they want to us. You know, we're just not in the chains no more. But everything is still being done to us spiritually. And, you know, Jake, when they going to jail and stuff like that. This Revelation chapter 13, verse 9. If any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints. Right, man. We can't wait to get paid back. Esau then already, killed us and put us on trees and everything. Took our heritage, from us, our way of life, and gave us this wicked bull. And thought that they was going to keep us down like that. But it's coming to an end. But, let me see. Alright, it says, I'm going to finish up with this. It says, it turns out that Anna and Jonesboro are not unique or even unusual. Beginning in about 1890 and continuing until 1968, white Americans established thousands of towns across the United States for whites only. Many towns drove out their black populations, then posted sundown signs. Portfolio 7 shows an example. Other towns passed ordinances barring African Americans after dark or prohibiting them from owning or renting property. Still others established such policies by informal means, harassing and even killing those who violated the rule. Some sundown towns similarly kept out Jews, Chinese, Mexicans, Native Americans, and other groups. Independent sundown towns range from tiny hamlets such as DeLand, Illinois, population 500, to substantial cities such as Appleton, Wisconsin, 57,000 in 1970. It says sometimes entire counties went sundown, usually when their county seat did. Independent sundown towns were soon joined by sundown suburbs, which could be even larger. Levittown on Long Island had 82,000 residents in 1970, while Livonia, Michigan, and Parma, Ohio had more than 100,000. Warren, a suburb of Detroit, had a population of 180,000, including just 28 minority families, most of whom lived on a U.S. Army facility, right? So they was doing sundown towns everywhere, man. Israel and them was supposed to be divided anyway. But just keeping it in mind that a lot of this is going on right now and coming back. And if they got these sundown towns where they it's only whites, what do you think they're doing? They getting trained and ready for these race wars. So, but the Lord gonna lift Jake up and have Jake fuck these Edomite devils up and shit, and then they're gonna call in them troops. And the prophecies are going to, continue rolling, until they implement the RFID chip and martial law and the Third World War kick off. But yeah, with that, for the lack of time, is all praise to Yahweh Shema Shai. Double honors to the elders and apostles that rule well, and salutations to the brothers that's doing truth and sincerity. Shalom.